know it sounds stupid that I'm about to sit here and complain about the thing I'm about to complain about, given that I'm a content creator and I literally make money making stupid little videos. But the situation at hand affects my life and affects my ability to make these videos for you guys. So it matters, to me at least. So hopefully me explaining my situation will help you understand my viewpoints a little bit more. I have been making content for roughly the past 7 years. I started in 2019 and I've been doing it full time as my actual job and career for the past 3, going on 4 years now. So for the past 4 years, this has been my only income. Social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all the above. Hold up, there's a plane going over me. Now also keep in mind, I have 1 million followers across almost every single platform. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. Across all of these platforms, I've garnered, I think, 2 billion plus views. But what you need to understand is that viewer count and follower count do not equate directly to monetary gain. To be as transparent as possible, the amount of money that I've made in the past 4 years of doing this in total is roughly about, I want to say, close to $150,000, which seems like a lot, yes. But when you break it down, that comes out to what, like $35,000 a year? That's enough to survive, but not enough to put savings away. Not enough to buy expensive, lavish shit, okay? I'm not living extra. So when I say something like TikTok just eradicated 70% of my income, that means a lot to somebody like me. Hold up, there's another fucking plane coming. Let's talk a little bit about how we as creators make money. Before I get into that though, let me explain a little bit of terminology to you so you kind of understand. There are two things. There's a CPM and an RPM. Roughly what it means is the amount of money that you make per 1,000 views on a video or a piece of content. Damn, I have shitty ass handwriting. So for this little thing, I'm gonna be talking in terms of 10 million views per month. So everything that I'm about to speak on is gonna be at a certain amount of money for every 1,000 views that I get in terms of 10 million views. That'll make sense in a second. There are 4 main platforms that I make money on: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So we're gonna start with the one I make the least money on. That's gonna be Facebook. Now, if I get 10 million views on Facebook, I make exactly $0. Facebook does not pay me because of a situation that I had where somebody was pretending to be me on Facebook before I would post my videos. They would post it, so my videos got flagged as like copyright, so I never got to get paid for those. But I still post on there because it's funny. Instagram used to pay people for reels, which is the things that I post. However, nowadays they only pay you if you post picture posts, so like carousels and shit like that. So on Instagram, I make a big fat $0 as well. We're gonna skip TikTok and go to YouTube. On YouTube, I do only shorts, and shorts you make between 10 and 15 cents per 1,000 views. So if I get 10 million views on a video, I'm gonna be making between $1,000 and $1,500, which is not too bad. But 10 million views is not an easy thing to do, and it's not really easy to make sure I repeat that every month unless I put a lot of work in, which is understandable. It's the job that I chose, so I get it. Here's where the problem comes in with TikTok. Keep in mind that TikTok makes up 70% of my income or more. So when I first started making videos on TikTok, they didn't pay you shit. Then they started doing something called the Creativity Fund. So when it first started, I made about $1.15 per 1,000 views. And I make 10 million views in that month. That means at the end of the month, I am making $11,500, which is insane to even think about. That lasted for about a month. TikTok started drawing back on that and realizing they were paying a little bit too much, which I get. So after that month, I went from making $1.15 per 1,000 views to roughly 63 cents per 1,000 views. That was my average, okay? That was where I was kind of sitting in the rung of things. So if I get 10 million views at a CPM of 63 cents per 1,000 views, I'd be going home with $6,300 at the end of the month. Add that $6,300 to the $1,500 I'm making on YouTube and doing whatever, that's about $7,000 a month, and that's amazing. But I'm not always making 10 million views a month, so that varies. However, starting December 1st of this year, something here changed. I went from making 63 cents per 1,000 views to making exactly 4 cents per 1,000 views, which means that for that same 10 million views that I was making about $6,000 from before, I am now making $400. You see the fucking problem there?
Just to really make sure you understand what's going on here, that is a 93.7% decrease in income. Waking up and realizing that you're making 93.7% less money than you were the day before is terrible. It is the worst. That shit is but it gets even worse.
So if I'm getting 10 million views, now on TikTok, you're only gonna be able to get paid for something called a qualified view, which means that you can only get paid from countries that are watching your video that are also a part of the payment programs. So that cuts out about 25% of the entirety of how much money I can get paid view-wise. On top of that, you can only get paid for people that watch your video for more than 5 seconds, which means that that's another roughly 15% of all the views this content is gonna get that I'm not gonna be able to get paid on. On top of that, I only get paid for one single view per account. So if somebody rewatches my video 4 times, I only get paid for one of those rewatches. That's another roughly 10%. So altogether, this 10 million views, I only get paid on for half of them. So 5 million views, which takes that $400 I was originally making and cuts that shit in half. So now I'm only making $200 for 10 million views. Do you understand how fucking ridiculous that is? And if that's where it stopped, I probably wouldn't be making this video, but it gets even worse. Now, I'm not saying that it's completely TikTok's fault that this is happening. However, it's just interesting to see. If we go back about, I wanna say 3 months ago, and we look at my content here, you can see I'm sitting an average of viewership of about 300,000 views per video right here. This is the beginning of December. This is the first video I posted in December. And everything beyond that, you see a little bit of a difference. Now I am struggling to even crack 100,000 views, which has never happened my entire career. Maybe 1 or 2 videos in a row, but never 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16 videos plus where I have barely been able to get above 100,000 views. That could be because of me, but nothing in my content has changed. So the only thing that's changed is the system that TikTok is using itself.
Let's add in all those new factors I just said, and that takes us from a 93.7% decrease to a 96.8% decrease in my overall income. What the fuck is that? Keep in mind, this is still in a perfect world. In reality, this is what my last month's income looked like. I made $14 last month, which is a 99.8% decrease in my income. It truly does not get closer to 100% than that. That is pretty much everything. I lost it all.
So the question is, there are 2 options at hand now, okay? Either one, I call it quits and I give up on all the dreams I had, all the TikTok, all the YouTube, all the influencer shit. I just call it quits and I go get a regular job and I work a 9 to 5 like I used to. Or I take all of the money that I have saved up and I give one last all or nothing effort on doing YouTube full time, doing long form videos like this one, and I'm gonna start streaming on Twitch. I hate streaming, but I have to do it. I genuinely love doing this, but also a lot of you reach out to me constantly telling me that the shit that I do, the content that I make helps you. That was the whole point of me doing what I do on this fucking platform and every other platform. I make content to show you and teach you things that make your life easier, to kind of take the place of the father that you guys didn't have. So I don't want to quit. I don't want to, but I'm gonna have to if this doesn't work. So with that being said, I'm gonna give one last effort. And I'm gonna ask you for one thing. As somebody that if you're watching this and you've seen my content before and I've reached you in any way, I've entertained you in some way, I've taught you something, I've benefited you in any way, shape, or form, and I'm not gonna ask you to fucking subscribe to my course or buy my merch or none of that fucking whack shit. Just subscribe to this YouTube channel and go and follow me on my Twitch. And you doing that for me will help me out more than anything that I could possibly ask for. I don't really even know where I'm going with this anymore. I